Narcissists don't trap you all at once. That's why you don't leave. It starts with something that feels rare, like finally being understood. Without having to explain yourself, they notice everything about you. What makes you feel seen? What makes you stay? And then, they become it, not because they feel it, but because they studied you. So when something changes, you don't question them, you question yourself. And that's the moment you're already inside the trap. It doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like connection. They're consistent, present. They listen in a way most people don't. You say something small, and they remember it. You mention something once, and suddenly it matters to them too. It feels easy. Conversations don't take effort. You don't have to think about what to say or how to say it. And that's rare, because most of the time, people misunderstand you or only see parts of you. But with them, it feels complete, like they see everything and still stay. And that's where it starts to shift, not in a way you can explain, just in a way you can feel. A slight delay, a different tone, something small, but not the same. And you notice it, but you don't react, because nothing is wrong yet, just different. And then, it starts to change. Not all at once. Not in a way you can clearly point to. Just small things. A delayed response. A different tone. Something that feels slightly off, but not enough to question. So you ignore it, because everything else still feels real. But then it happens again. And this time, you notice it faster. You start thinking about it, trying to understand it. Maybe they're just busy. Maybe something's wrong. Maybe it's not that serious. And slowly, your focus shifts from what they're doing to why they might be doing it. You start adjusting, saying less, expecting less, becoming more careful, because now you don't want to lose what you had in the beginning. And they feel that. They see the hesitation, the patience, and they understand something important. You're not going anywhere. And that's when the pattern changes. They pull back, just enough to create distance, then come closer again, just enough to keep you attached. Not consistent, predictable, and without realizing it, you start chasing the version of them that existed in the beginning. Not who they are now, but who they showed you first. At this point, it feels confusing, because nothing is clearly wrong. But nothing feels right either. And that's not accidental, because what you're experiencing is not inconsistency, it's control. A narcissist doesn't connect with you the way you think they do. They don't experience the relationship, they manage it. From the beginning, they were paying attention, not to who you are, but to how you respond. What makes you feel valued? What makes you stay? What makes you overlook things you normally wouldn't? And once they understand that, they don't need to be consistent anymore. Because consistency builds trust, but inconsistency builds attachment. When something is always available, you get used to it. But when it appears and disappears, your mind starts chasing it, trying to get back what you had before. And that's the shift. You're no longer responding to them. You're reacting to the feeling they created in you. And that feeling is not connection, it's dependency. Because now, your attention is no longer on what they do. It's on how to get them back to who they were. And the more you try, the more control they have. And this is the part most people don't see clearly. Because from the outside, nothing looks extreme. There's no obvious reason to leave. No single moment you can point to and say, that's when it broke. But inside, something feels heavy, confusing, draining. You start thinking more than you feel, analyzing every message, every tone, every silence, trying to figure out what changed, what you did wrong, how to fix it. And slowly, without realizing it, your world becomes smaller. Less about you, and more about them. Their mood, their attention, their response. Everything starts depending on that. and the version of you that existed before this becomes harder to recognize. Because now, you're more careful, more patient, more understanding, but also more anxious, more uncertain, more attached. And the hardest part is, you can still remember how it felt in the beginning, how easy it was, how real it felt. And that memory keeps you there because you believe if you just say the right thing, do the right thing, be the way you were before, it will go back to that. But it doesn't. Because that version was never real. It was designed. And now, you're trying to hold on to something that was never meant to stay. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think the problem was what the other person did. But that's not why it lasted. It lasted because it felt real to you. And that's the part that's hardest to accept. Because the emotions were real. The attachment was real. The experience felt real. But the structure behind it was not. And once you see that, something changes. Not outside, but inside, you stop trying to fix it. Because you realize there was nothing to fix. You stop trying to go back because you understand. There was no back to return to, only a version that was shown to you. And the moment you see that clearly, the control starts to break. Not because they changed, but because you finally understand what you were holding on to and why it was so hard to let go. And if you really think about it, it was never sudden. It was built, step by step, right in front of you. You just didn't see it for what it was, because it didn't feel dangerous. It felt familiar, and that's what made it work. But now, you see it differently, not as something confusing, but as something predictable. And once you see the pattern like this, it doesn't pull you in the same way again. In the next video, we go deeper into what happens after this, how they keep you inside the cycle, even when you start to realize it, because understanding the trap is only the beginning.